Hey y'all, and welcome back to the Social Takeoff Podcast. Today we are talking about 3 ways that you should be telling people what it is that you do. If you struggle with this as a travel professional, keep listening. Welcome to the Social Takeoff Podcast, a podcast for travel professionals who are ready to use social media to help their business take off. I'm Kelly Hay-Smith, your host. I'm a travel agent turned social media marketer who now works with multiple 7-figure travel agencies to help them infuse strategy and create a target social plan. I'll be sharing all of the tips and tricks of the trade, as well as content ideas and trends that you should be using to help grow your travel business. Let's get started. Hey y'all, today is the first episode of the Social Takeoff Podcast. I'm Kelly Hay-Smith. I'm your host. I am a travel agent turned content marketer who now owns a social media marketing agency that works only with travel professionals, travel agencies, and helping them to streamline and make beautiful social media presences. But also, more important than that beautiful social media presence, it's all about an insightful and strategic and goal-oriented social media process. And so one of the things that I talk about on my Instagram, and if you're not following me there, you should be. It's at Kelly Hay-Smith. Go follow me there. But one of the things that I talk about often is making sure that people understand what it is that you do. So for clients the other day, I was actually searching, and it was for Careers on Vacation. So I work inside Careers on Vacation. I work with them as a content creator, but I also work with them as an Instagram expert and teach the mastermind students about Instagram and social media. And I was actually doing some research for a piece of content that I was doing for them the other day. And what I found was I looked to see what one of the number one questions searched about travel agents was. Anyway, what I found was that one of the number one things that was searched for is, are travel agents still a thing? And what people don't understand is that travel agents aren't this thing anymore where they're in like this brick and mortar office and you're walking in and like you're sitting down and they're handing you all these brochures. And it's a very different, but probably even more, not even probably, definitely even more essential business now, an essential service now post-pandemic than it was before, than it was in the early 90s. When I went to Disney World the first time with my parents, it was in 1991. And I know they used a travel agent and they didn't know Disney. My parents didn't know Disney. It was the first time we'd ever been. And so it was really important to them. But think about it now. How much more important are your services post-pandemic, especially with all of these like changes that constantly happen, right? Like I am recording this the week after Christmas, but you're listening to this the first week of January. We just had that crazy Southwest, like all those cancellations. How much more important is it now? What about the summer when all of the delays and the flight delays were happening and people were missing their cruises and all of these things because of that? Without a travel agent, without a travel advisor to walk clients through this, how much more frustrated are they? Then you get into the COVID regulations and all of these new things that you have to know based on what country or what cruise line you're going on, all of those things. And then travel in 2023 is expected to bounce back in amazing fashion. And we also are dealing with the frustration of the competition. Things are sold out earlier than they've ever been sold out before because people are ready to travel again. And so all of those things combined showcase that yes, travel agents, travel advisors, whatever you call yourself, are a thing and they are essential, but people don't know what you do. They are still thinking like the old school travel agent. And so what you have to do, what part of your job has to be as a travel agent or an agency owner is really making sure that potential clients and followers understand what it is that you do. I was at a retreat in September with Careers on Vacation, and I was doing Instagram audits. And what I noticed really quickly is that so many of them weren't actually talking about what they do. So let me like blow your mind for a second. What if the destinations aren't your offer? Okay. You all are fabulous. I know that, but I promise you that no one on your feed sees a picture of Cinderella's castle and thinks, Disney World. I never thought about taking my kids to Disney World. No, all parents have thought about taking their kids to Disney World. All of them have thought about that. I promise you that they don't see crystal clear water and white sand beaches and think, I never thought about going somewhere tropical. No, if they're interested in somewhere tropical, they've thought about somewhere tropical. You don't have to sell destinations. Now, should you showcase destinations and should you talk about insight into destinations? Of course. And we're going to talk about that because we have a long time to work together through this podcast. And we're going to talk about that. And I talk about it on my Instagram. But today, for this piece, what I want you to think about is the fact that Expedia sells trips. Why? Because Expedia is a travel agency, but they're not a service, right? It's just a booking engine, even though they're technically a travel agency and people are booking with a travel agency when they book through any of those online bookings. They're not a service because they're not providing a service for a client. They are just a booking engine. What sets you apart from those booking engines is your service. So your offer is not the destinations that you book. Your offer is your service. So the first way that you can tell people what it is that you do is actually to bullet point out what you do. You would be surprised how many travel agents and agency owners that I will sit down with and I say, I want you to list what you do. I want you to list it out. What is it that you do? And they really have to take time and thought about it. And so the easiest way for you to do this is to start thinking about a client right now. What client you're working on right now, and start listing out everything that you have done to this point for them and what you will continue to do. Then think about problems that have gone on with past clients. Okay, we're at the beginning of this year. Think about last year and some of the problems that you solved with your clients. What was it that you did to solve those problems? Bullet that out. List that out. Now that you have a really good list, you can use it in so many ways. Want to know how? Good, because I'm getting ready to tell you. So, okay, you're gonna have your list. This is like something that should live in your phone or your iPad or your computer, someplace that you can go back for reference and be like, oh yeah, I remember that now. Because sometimes you're gonna like put out into the world the whole list, and sometimes you're gonna focus on little pieces of that list because that's content and it's a lot of content. That one list is thousands of pieces of content, okay? Thousands. Because remember, for this purpose, you are the offer, not the destinations. What is it that you do, not the destinations that you sell, okay? So let's talk about how you can use these. Okay, first and foremost, you can use these on social posts, okay? Let's think about this. How do I problem solve for a client? That's a carousel post. That's a list post. All of those pieces are there. How do I help plan itineraries, custom itineraries? What does custom itineraries mean? That's a carousel. That's a list post. That's a picture of an amazing family vacation where you talk about in the caption how you created a custom itinerary. Talk about the proposal process that you do. Talk about how you match a family to a resort. All of those things talk about your services. I take into account your budget and your special needs. Like what family has special needs, but not just special needs in the sense that we're used to saying that, but like, are they hauling a stroller around? I had a DM this morning from someone and she said she felt like she was stuck on what to post. And I talked to her about doing posts about, she just did a reel that performed really well about a resort at Disney. And I said, okay, but go further into that. So if you have a client who has to have a double stroller, what are the things that go into that? Like, you're not going to put them in a tiny room that the double stroller won't fit in, or are they going to have to lug that double stroller up a bunch of steps? If you're going to Disney, with that double stroller, if the only mode of transportation is the bus, they're going to have to fold that up every single time they come on the bus, in and out on the bus. So would they be better fit for a Skyliner resort or monorail resort? All of those things, even though you're teaching about the destinations at the same time, talking to them about the thought that you put into the resorts or whatever it is that you're recommending, the staterooms, the cruises, anything that you are recommending to them, that is a piece of what you do, because you have the insight into those destinations to custom plan, to tailor make a trip for them. Okay? So that is the first way you can use that bulleted list out. Then you can turn those social posts into Reels, TikToks, YouTube Shorts, short form video. You can totally take a carousel post, or you can do a pointing right there, or you can put a video of a destination in the background, but put the words on the foreground of what it is that you do. 5 things I do for my clients that they haven't thought of. Bing, bing, bing. That is showcasing your value as an agent. Okay. So then we do a Facebook Live, or we do a YouTube video, or we do an Instagram Live, or we record a video and put it out in an email. You can talk about these things in video form. Okay. You can literally make a carousel post and then record yourself talking about the same things and put it out in a different format, and it just becomes new content. Put what you do in whatever email funnels you have. If you have email funnels that are going out like automatically, when somebody signs up for your email list, they automatically get a new email funnel. You can turn that into, okay. When you send out a welcome email, I got distracted. I'm sorry. When you send that out as an email, you can then put that list of things in there, or the video of you talking in there, so that one of the first few emails that they get from you is an understanding of what it is that you do. And then one of the most important things, and one of the things that I always do for my clients, is list out what it is that you do and save it as an Instagram highlight. So if you've heard me talk anytime, you know that Instagram highlights, I like to use them as a portfolio. Evergreen pieces of information that explain your business. It's your portfolio there at the top. Put what you do in a story format that is very easy and laid out for people to read. So there's no question about what you do. That is how you can use that first bulleted out list to tell people what you do. Okay, so let's talk about the second way. After you've bulleted that out and you've used it throughout your content in there, another way that you can showcase what it is that you do is by showcasing behind the scenes. So first off, the reason that Instagram stories and Facebook stories and Snapchat and what is that Be Real thing, and then also TikTok has a version of that. I think Instagram's going to have a version of that. The reason those things are popular is because people are naturally interested, even from just a voyeuristic point of view, they're interested in what you're doing behind the scenes. So if they're already interested in that, intrigues them, showcase what it is that you're doing behind the scenes in real time. Don't get all fluffed up for this. You don't have to have makeup and hair done. Literally find a filter. And listen, I'm not for filters that make you look like you're wearing a mask, but I am all for filters that make you feel confident when you're not completely made up, so that you can actually feel good and show up on camera. Find one filter that makes you feel good, use it often, and then showcase. If you're up early doing dining reservations, show that. If you are booking transfers for clients, show that process. It doesn't have to be a long form video where you're talking to the camera. It can totally just be a boomerang or a quick shot of what you're doing on that day, or do a really short video recording and put music over it and just talk about booking transfers for clients, got all the dining reservations for clients, because then it teaches them. It does showcase some of the destination, but it really teaches your followers, your potential clients, because let's just get down to the fact, all of your followers should be potential clients. So it teaches your potential clients what it is that you're doing for your current clients. It shows social proof that you're actually doing the job. And it also shows that these are the things that I do. Maybe they didn't know that you get up and do dining reservations. Maybe they didn't know what it is that you do. And so now they're able to understand that. Okay. So that is the other things. Oh, put that on your stories. We talked about that, and post your stories often. But another way that you can show behind the scenes stuff is do a day in the life reel and just video clips of you doing what you do as a travel professional all throughout the day, and then put it all together with some trending music, and it'll show what it looks like. And agency owners, this is really good for you because it's a great way to entice new agents to come to you. This is what a day in the life of being a travel agent looks like. All right, who's ready for number 3? Okay, number 3, client stories. So social proof doesn't always have to come in the form of testimonials. It doesn't always have to come in the form of specific reviews from clients. Social proof can come from you telling the stories of how you've helped. What have you done? Problems you have solved, surprises that you've given clients, over the top itineraries that you've planned, detail-oriented pieces of the itineraries that you've put together, and talk about that. Here is an itinerary that I just put together for the M family that's going here. And I booked, it's a European trip and we're going by rail on all of these cities. And this is all of the pieces that we've done. It showcases what you do. It also showcases that you are doing the job. And it also is really interesting because then it comes back to that same voyeuristic thing and they want to know what other people are doing. And they've learned a lot about you. So it's talking about the destination. They see that you can do that destination, but it's really talking about the detail work that you do for the client. And it gives them the understanding of what it is that you do. So as you watch this on YouTube or listen to this as a podcast, I really want you to take a look at your social platforms. I don't care if it's TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, but I want you to take a real hard look at your platforms and ask yourself, how much have you been putting out there as you as the offer, your service as the offer, or how much time are you spending showcasing destinations? Showing that you're the offer can also look like things like tried and true tips and insight, which we're going to talk about in the coming weeks. But really look at when is the last time you showed your audience, AKA your potential followers, what it is that you do as a travel planner, advisor, agent, professional for them. Why would they book with you? They have the world at their fingertips. They can use all of those crazy booking engines like Expedia, Booking.com to book their trips. Why would they hand over their trip to someone else? Because of the service you provide. And if you're not laying out that service for them, they don't understand why they should. And so I want you to take a look at those, and I want you to comment and reply, come to my Instagram DMs. I want you to reply here on the YouTube, whatever it is, and tell me if you're doing this and how you're doing it, or if you're not doing it, I want you to tell me how you're going to. How are you going to put this in process and do it going forward? Okay, make sure that you've subscribed to either the YouTube channel or the podcast, wherever you're getting this. Turn on those notifications so you know when something's coming up, and make sure that you come back on Friday for the 5 Things Friday podcast that will be loading, so that you can catch that. It'll be a really short one, and it'll be that way every single week. And then the next new episode will be here next Tuesday. Thanks for joining me for this first episode. Y'all have a great day.